Hey everybody, QG here. So, last time I made a roster prediction video, I didn't make it like a proper roster prediction video. That was more, I guess you could, if I was naming that now, it's more of a roster probability video, but it's not my roster prediction at the moment. So, I wanted to go ahead and share with you guys my current definitive roster prediction, or who I think is getting in. So, starting off, I don't think we're getting any cuts. I feel like I've talked about this before, but it seems like cutting even just a third of this cast would be really, really bad and not favored. And I just don't think it's super likely to happen in the first place, so I don't see it happening at all. We already know of 5 other characters that were leaked. That's Squidward, Jimmy, Raphael, Vlad, and El Tigre now. So that's 30 characters. Aside from that, I am of the opinion, I've thought it over, I've been thinking it over, I'm of the opinion that we are almost certainly getting another Loud House character. And out of all the options, I think Luna Loud seems the most probable and the most favored, so I'm gonna go with her. I mean, I don't know, it feels right out of all the choices you could go with. I don't think they're gonna do Clyde. Clyde just doesn't seem interesting enough. From there, we have Donatello. Donatello should go without saying. We're not just going to get 3 out of the 4 turtles. We're getting Donatello if we're getting the other 3. Like, that just kind of makes sense. I don't think I need to elaborate there. And then we have Angry Beavers. So Daggett and Norbert, I should say. Yeah, these guys were very popularly requested. They're both 90s characters. The show they're from is relatively popular. But I don't see them working as like an Ice Climbers character. I see them more as like a tag-in, tag-out character like Zelda and Sheik or Pokemon Trainer or like Pyra and Mithra. They're definitely characters I see swapping in and out rather than just fighting alongside each other. Plus, I think it'd be funny if the whole gimmick of them, like when they swap out, is they slap tails. That just sounds like a fun visual gag. So that's what I imagine is going to happen there. They just seem really, I don't know, they feel like obvious inclusions. And then my last proper prediction character is Otis. I think we're going to definitely get like one other character that's just like, just very out there and like kind of a meme almost, but at the same time, also Otis was also extremely highly requested, like very, very high up there, right below like Zuko, and Zuko was like top 6, I think. So it's safe to assume that Otis is a very popular request. They would surely know about it or know that people want him. I could totally see him getting it. So I guess from there I have to address a couple characters that I don't think are necessarily going to be in base game. For one, Fairly Odd Parents. We don't know what's going on in Fairly Odd Parents. I just don't see Timmy as likely in any capacity or context. He just seems like a character that he'll happen when he happens, but until then I'm not predicting him, if that makes sense. From there, we have Zuko. Zuko is probably the biggest one here. Zuko seems to be a shoo-in by a lot of people, and I am not entirely sold on it for the most part. And I think the simple reason is that they already had a perfect opportunity to add Zuko. Like, a character like Zuko seems like he'd be easier to implement than a character like Toph. So instead of doing Zuko in the first game, they went out of their way to do more work to implement Toph, which tells me that 1, Zuko's probably not the biggest priority, but 2, also that they may just not find him interesting enough, like on his own, or different enough from like what you've seen in other platform fighters before. Because the thing about Zuko is he's a firebender, and that's cool, but there's a lot of characters in platform fighters that already mainly attack with fire, or use fire in some prominent element, so you'd have to get very creative with Zuko to make him truly stand out, or you're just going to have another character that reminds people of other characters from other platform fighters. And even then, Korra couldn't even escape that. Like, Korra's the only one I think that actually uses any firebending, and she's still, like, very closely associated with Ganondorf in any fire-related move she has. So, yeah, that's the other issue with Zuko. Aside from that, that's not to say I don't think Zuko will never get in. It's to say I don't see him getting in base game. He just doesn't seem like a character they'd want to prioritize. And he seems like he would absolutely sell as DLC. So I imagine if we get Zuko, he'll be a DLC character for sure. And aside from that, the only other like prominent ones I could probably bring up are two I can think of. First up would be like any other SpongeBob character. The thing about SpongeBob is that after Squidward, you kind of run into issues with who you'd add. Mr. Krabs is a problem because his voice actor is infamously extremely expensive to hire, to the point where a lot of like other games and Nicktoon games and SpongeBob games, even Battle for Bikini Bottom, don't have Clancy Brown voicing Mr. Krabs. That's not a bad thing necessarily, nor does it hurt his chances, but I don't envision that they would add him without the intent of getting his original voice actor. And I think it could also be a part of why Mr. Krabs has never been playable in any Nicktoons crossover game, is because of the whole expensive voice actor thing. And then besides Mr. Krabs, there's Plankton, who has kind of a, size issue. That's not to say characters can't be scaled up. Olimar in Smash is obviously a scaled up character, but the difference there is that he's not alongside any other character that's already in Smash in his own game. Like, Plankton has stood alongside Mr. Krabs, and he is tiny. Like, if you just size up Plankton without doing anything else, it's gonna look very weird and not really be Plankton. So you'd have to find a way to implement Plankton by keeping him small, but still making him feel like Plankton. And I don't know, that just seems difficult to implement. Like, even in Globs of Doom, when they added Plankton, they made him work by sizing him up, literally. Like, it's just, it doesn't quite work for Plankton, I don't think. And even then, like, he's already in as a ball. Like, I imagine when they were making NickBrawl, the first game, Plankton probably was a character that was on their mind, but he got turned into a ball anyways. I'm sure that's not literally him, but you guys know what I mean. Like, they found a different way to represent him while getting around the whole size issue, and I think that's probably where he's gonna stay. And then besides those two, I mean, who else do you add from SpongeBob? Like, there's Gary, who's like part of the stage. There's Mrs. Puff. I don't think she's nearly popular enough of a request. From there, you're probably dipping into more side characters like the My Leg guy or the Chocolate guy or Kevin or Bubble Bass or characters like that. The only other like somewhat prominent but not really characters I can think of that could have a chance are like Pearl or Larry the Lobster. Pearl is not a character I necessarily see getting in, though, anytime soon, especially due to lack of fan demand. Larry is maybe possible, but I don't see him being DLC, and I definitely don't think he works. I don't think he quite fits into the 34 character prediction roster I've got, so I'm not really expecting him either. That being said, I am still predicting that we could get like Mr. Krabs as DLC. But yeah, I'm not predicting any SpongeBob characters for base game beyond Squidward. And with that, that is my definitive roster prediction. This is my roster prediction I'm sticking with until we get more info about Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2. So thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. Comment down below letting me know how much you agree or I'm sure disagree with my thought process here. Oh! No, actually, I forgot. There is one other character I have to mention. That's, like Rugrats, Angelica, Tommy. I still don't think we're getting any of the Rugrats, like the actual Rugrats. I'm not ruling out Angelica, though. I don't want to rule out Angelica, but in the end, I just kind of decided that she doesn't quite fit into this. If I was upping this to 35 characters, I would probably include Angelica. but as is, she didn't quite fit into the roster prediction I thought of. And if she doesn't make base, I'm sure she's a solid candidate for DLC. So, okay, that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more, and until the next one, peace.